Do you often find your workday spiraling out of control? You start each day with a plan to get so much done, but soon find yourself becoming distracted, focusing on low-priority tasks and, simply, procrastinating. So how can you regain control of your time? One-size-fits-all lists on how to be more productive don't work. We'll outline productivity techniques that can be adapted to your personality and working style. 3 basics of productivity. Use these principles to help guide you through your workday. All workers and workdays are unique. With fewer companies and employees adhering to a traditional 9-to-5 day, the differences in our workdays are becoming more pronounced. But putting those differences aside, 3 overarching ideas apply to all our productivity tips. 1. Trust the small increments. You can't expect to change years of working habits overnight. Small changes in how you work can gradually add up to big changes in productivity. Try one tip to start, and keep adding more as you find the strategies that work best for you. 2. Be accountable. Whether it's weekly check-ins with a coworker or setting your own deadlines and announcing them to others, having to answer to someone else can often force you to get the job done. 3. Forgive yourself. You are human, accept that you are sometimes going to slip up, become distracted and have a bad day. It's more important to move on than to dwell on your mistakes. For the multitasker, if you're trying to do 3 things at once, you're often accomplishing very little. A biological impossibility. Think you can get more done by juggling multiple tasks at the same time? Try calling your coworker while typing an email and checking your Facebook page. You may feel as if you're being productive, but you're probably not getting any of those tasks done efficiently. We all have a limited amount of cognitive bandwidth, the number of thoughts and memories we can hold in our minds at any given time. Your brain may delude itself into thinking that it has more capacity than it really does, but it's really working extra hard to handle multiple thoughts at once when you are switching back and forth between tasks. Your ability to get things done depends on how well you can focus on one task at a time, whether it's for 5 minutes or an hour. Multitasking is not humanly possible, said Earl K. Miller, a neuroscience professor at the Pekauer Institute for Learning and Memory at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. More errors and less creativity. When you multitask, you tend to make more mistakes. When you toggle back and forth between tasks, the neural networks of your brain must backtrack to figure out where they left off and then reconfigure, Dr. Miller said. That extra activity causes you to slow down, and errors become more likely. People are much more efficient if they monotask, he said. Trying to multitask also impedes creativity, he said. Truly innovative thinking arises when we allow our brains to follow a logical path of associated thoughts and ideas, and this is more likely when we can focus on a single mental pathway for an extended period. The brain is like a muscle, it becomes stronger with use, Dr. Miller said. As with physical exercise, the more we strengthen our mental connections by focusing on one task to the exclusion of all others, the better we can perform. How to monotask. To the best of your ability, set up a work environment that encourages the performing of one task at a time. It's probably not realistic to think that we can block off hours at a time for a single task, but even committing to monotask for 5 minutes can yield productivity benefits. Here are a few small changes you can make. Remove temptation. Actively resist the urge to check unrelated social media while you are working on a task. Some workers may need to go so far as to install anti-distraction programs like Self-Control, Freedom, StayFocused and Anti-Social, which block access to the most addictive parts of the internet for specified periods. Work on just one screen, put away your cell phone and turn off your second monitor. Move. If you find yourself losing focus, reading the same sentence over and over, or if your mind continually wanders off topic, get up and briefly walk around, Dr. Miller said. A brief walk around your office can lift your mood, reduce hunger and help you refocus. Work in intervals. Set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes and commit to focusing on your assignment for that amount of time. Then allow yourself a minute of distraction, as long as you get back on your task for another 5 or 10 minutes. When distractions take over, the tendency to become distracted is primal, so forgive yourself if you do. It arose in our earliest days as humans, when we needed to respond instantly to lions, tigers and other predators that threatened us, said Dr. Miller. Every sensory input was deeply interesting, and our response to it was sometimes a matter of life or death. Our brain has not let go of this ancient survival mechanism, we still crave that informational tap on the shoulder, he said. Fortunately, the more we work on focusing on one task at a time and ignoring distractions, the more we exercise the prefrontal cortex, the more evolved part of our brains. Then it becomes easier to focus. More about managing distractions. For the procrastinator, accountability, whether it's to yourself or to another person, can be crucial to your productivity. Be accountable. To combat procrastination, find an accountability partner. This can be a colleague or a manager, whose role is to receive regular progress reports on your project. The person you choose will have to take his or her role seriously, expressing disappointment if you have not achieved your goal, and appreciation if you have. Some inveterate procrastinators even agree on a set of rewards or punishments to go along with their deadlines, depending on what motivates them the most. A reward could be a free lunch, a punishment could be an email to the department announcing that a deadline was not met. Stay on track. To-do lists work to keep you accountable because they help you stay on the path to getting your most important work done, if you use them effectively, that is. Before you leave work for the day, make a list of 5 to 8 goals that you would like to accomplish the following day, said Julie Morgenstern, a time management expert based in New York. On a separate list, add any personal errands that need to be done that day, like booking a flight for a vacation or buying a birthday gift. That list should contain no more than 2 or 3 items. Be realistic about what you can accomplish in a day of work, and resist the urge to make a to-do list for the whole week, which can leave you feeling stressed and overwhelmed. Make the items on your to-do list specific, realistic and simple. Don't secretly pack 8 or 10 tasks inside one huge item, like finish project. Instead, break your project into small, discrete components. To-do list downsides. Because our primal mind craves distraction, the classic to-do list can prevent interruptions from taking over your day. But humans are also vulnerable to so-called structured procrastination, where in order to avoid working on a hard task, they spend time on a much easier one. Answering an email or liking a post on Facebook can be a form of structured procrastination. Writing your to-do list can also be a form of structured procrastination. So, give yourself 5 minutes or less to write a to-do list each morning. Keep it focused and short, so you're not spending more time checking off items than actually completing them. List keepers. Some people like to keep their lists on paper, making emphatic and satisfying checkmarks whenever they complete a task. Others prefer the computer route. If that's the case, many apps are available, including these. Todoist. This app works well across many platforms and is rich with features like reminders, notes and the ability to sync your lists with your devices. Remember the milk. This one includes a feature that allows users to share tasks with others, like coworkers and family members. Evernote. This note-taking app allows you to create to-do lists in the form of personal notebooks. To avoid confusion, pick either paper or digital for your lists, as it can be hard to manage both. At your desk. Where you work can be just as important as how you work. What your desk says about you. There's no one right way to organize a desk. But your physical workspace can have a big effect on productivity. It can either energize you or deplete your energy, said Ms. Morgenstern, the time management expert. In general, only 25% of a desk's messiness is related to organizational skills, Ms. Morgenstern maintains. The rest is tied to time management. Every paper on your desk has a task associated with it, and that task is going to take time. Have you factored in enough time to get it all done? Out of control piles of paper may be a sign that you need to delegate, she said. Ask yourself, are the piles on your desk the same ones that were there 3 weeks ago, or are they moving? As long as they're not stagnant, you're probably doing okay with some clutter, Ms. Morgenstern said. In most cases, keep your desk clear except for the project you are tackling at the moment, along with the equipment you need to complete it, she said. You should also create a space for an in zone. Brand new things that have just come in, and an out zone for things that are finished and need to be distributed. One of the easiest ways to start to change your workspace is to spend the last 10 minutes of your workday readying your desk for the next day. Then you won't have to start your day with yesterday's mess, Ms. Morgenstern said. Starting out with a desk prepared for the day ahead could have a powerful effect on your mindset and productivity. Get the latest industry updates, delivered daily. Sign up for the Dealbook newsletter, delivered every morning and afternoon, and receive industry news throughout the day. For computer users, everyone, as much as they speed up the pace of work, computers can slow things down, too. Know your computer. Not understanding the capabilities of your computer can be a serious hindrance to your productivity. Some people fear that asking for tech help will make them look incompetent, but in fact the opposite is true, according to research. Ask for technology advice when you think a computer or online task is taking longer than it should. It could be that you don't know how to use a particular type of technology efficiently, or you don't know what a company's past practices have been in a certain area. Make an effort to seek out the people who can fill in your knowledge gaps, while being respectful of their time and responsibilities. Managers can assist in this process by offering regular information sessions and company-specific manuals related to technology like email, Excel, Microsoft Word, Slack and others. A mentorship program is another option. Take control of your inbox. Do you find yourself constantly stopping to check your email? Email is an ideal way to practice structured procrastination when you work on an easy, unimportant task rather than tackle a harder, important one. Email is like life. It is messy, imperfect, full of surprises, and everybody handles it differently. There is no perfect email system. Experts may promote the value of techniques like Inbox Zero, where you try to clear your inbox every day, but even if your inbox is empty, your work life, with all its unanswered questions, incomplete projects and challenging problems, will remain full. Embrace the daily challenge of keeping your work life under control by using email as your ally rather than your nemesis. Here are a few techniques that can help make your email work for you. Set aside dedicated times every day to process email. This could be a few times a day or 5 minutes every hour, Ms. Morgenstern, the time management expert said. Give email your undivided attention when you're working on it, she said. Divide email into groups. As you scan your email, sort the messages into 2 groups, those requiring quick responses and those needing thoughtful ones. Try the 2-minute rule, as popularized by David Allen, author of Getting Things Done. If you can dispense with an email in 2 minutes, do it now, if not, do it later at a scheduled time. If emails are going to require a few days of thought, buy yourself some time by acknowledging receipt that day and saying you will respond later. Make it a point to follow through. Try to identify the emails you are actively avoiding. Often there is an emotional component to emails you avoid, Ms. Morgenstern said, because they involve saying no to someone or making a difficult decision. Instead of procrastinating on replying, you will likely save time by responding in person or on the phone, where your tone and personality will come through more readily, rather than trying to write the perfect diplomatic response in an email. Turn off notifications. Some email experts advise checking email only 2 or 3 times a day, but in many work environments this is not realistic. An all-important message from the boss or a client may need a quick response. But almost anything can wait for 20 minutes. So, turn off your email notifications for 20 to 30 minutes when you need to focus on something else.